here on IceTime.TV, and I'm pleased to say I've been joined by Devils player coach Andrew Lord for our regular catch-up. Andrew, good evening. How are things?
Good, thanks. Good. How about you?
I'm not too bad. I was struggling up until about 10 minutes ago to know what I was going to ask you for our catch-up, but I understand you might have some big news for us.
Yeah. Uh, just wanted to surprise you a little bit for a change, John. But we have big news. We have a double signing. Andrew Hotham returns to the Cardiff Devils, and this time we're bringing his brother with him, Scott Hotham.
Okay, so we've got a pair of brothers playing for the Devils. We've had a few good ones in the past, the Coopers, the Wares, the Smiths. Let's take Andrew first, because he's been an unsung hero for the Devils for the last couple of years. Silly question, I know, but what does the league's MVP defenseman add to the Devils roster?
He adds a lot. Yeah, he for the better part of 2 seasons, he's been absolutely incredible. You know, you put him up there with Joey Martin in really drives our offense, particularly on the power play. Just creates so much offense. He handles the puck great. Great, unbelievable vision is probably his greatest asset to his overall skill set. I know he struggled a little bit down the stretch there, but in fairness, he was battling a pretty substantial injury that I don't think anyone knew about. He's fully healthy now, and I'm just so incredibly happy to have him back because he brings a great dynamic for us in the locker room. He's very great, very good teammate, and he for the most part he's a big game player, and I know we'll see the best out of him this upcoming season.
So I guess much like Joey Martin, a player of that quality, he must have had offers from mainland Europe, but it must speak to him and also the Devils organization that he's really bought into what's happening here, and I guess unfinished business might be the message.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a couple other leagues interested in him for sure. But again, the quality of life, the total package we can provide here in Cardiff, it speaks for itself now with the new arena as well. And all these guys have come to love the fan base, the city. How great they get treated by the owners and the off ice team, and it's gonna be a special year. I think we've put our time in. We've learned a lot of valuable lessons over the last 2 years here, and I think as a group, this core group's really matured, and we're ready to take the next step.
So, of course, bringing Andrew Hotham back, putting you on the spot a little bit here. Over the last couple of years, he's formed one of the best defensive partnerships in the league with Mark Richardson. Letting us in on a secret. Any reason to break that up?
Probably not. No, they've been unbelievable. From an offensive perspective to a plus minus perspective, they log a ton of minutes, and they complement each other so well. Hotham obviously with that offensive upside, um, playing with a guy like Richie, who actually probably has a bit more offensive upside than we see, but who just is great in his role to complement Andrew. Yeah, they work very very well together, and it's nice knowing that we have that pairing sort of in the books there if we want it. At the same time, we have a lot of other great options here with Fournier, Batchy, Scott Hotham now. We can definitely play around, and we have a long preseason to do so. So I think it'll be interesting to see.
So, turning our attention to Scott, now I've known about him for a few years. People have spoken about him, and everybody knows he's a good player. But I've just looked at his stats, and I'm astounded by his point production for a defenseman. That's just got to be, such a bonus for you. That offensive upside he's got to his game.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think it gives us great depth in the air, in those areas. Obviously, we already have Fournier and Andrew Hotham there, and now to add another guy, particularly being a right shot, because you'd be surprised. It's harder than you think to find a guy of that quality being a right shot defenseman right now. On the market, and he's got a huge stick. He really understands how to break up plays. His vision's also right up there with Andrews, and they are slightly different. He's not quite as maybe risky at times with the puck. Carrying the puck as much. He's got a great first pass. I think on the breakout and in transition, he's going to be awesome for us. Just getting it up to the forwards quickly. He's also got a pretty good release on him there, and good at getting pucks through to the net. So we're looking to add all that to our roster. And I think also he's a veteran. He's experienced now. He's won a trophy there in Italy a few years back, and he definitely has that competitive edge, just like his brother. And I think we need more of that this season. And I'm really excited to have him on board.
And is it, thinking particularly about the power play, is it a little bit of an embarrassment of riches at the moment? Because this guy, I read about him, Scott has got a dynamic shot. He put up 80 odd points in Austria, a lot of points in Italy. I guess he gives you another option on the back end when it comes to special teams.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely going to be some competition for power play time this year, which is uh, which is a good thing. You want that. You make it. Guys got to earn their ice time, so to speak. And yeah, anytime you can add another guy with that kind of overall skill set, along with being very defensively responsible, along with being a big body back there, and who reads the game and who's a good teammate and checks all those other boxes, I think it's a no-brainer. And we're very fortunate to have both of them be a part of our team this upcoming season.
It's certainly very exciting. Now, you might choose to ignore this one, but I'm going to throw it in anyway. With Fournier, Richardson, and the two Hothams now going coast to coast and skating up the ice, Josh Batch may be looking a little alone back there as a rugged, tough defenseman. Is the last defensive signing likely to be a stay-at-home, rough, tough kind of guy?
We're definitely looking at that. We're looking at that, a little bit up front, a little bit on the back end, and it's just trying to find the right piece. It might be up front, it might be on the back, it might be both. But we're really sifting through a lot of options right now. Things have heated up the last couple weeks here. Now that North America's got going again with the UFA unrestricted free agency and all that kind of stuff. There's a bit of a trickle down effect. But yeah, I'm not going to give away too much there. We also have Cully as an option. So yeah, we'll see how it pans out here in the next couple weeks.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you right now with how this Devils lineup's shaping up?
I mean, I'm incredibly happy. Yeah, it's the recruiting side's obviously hugely important. I'm really excited about, I think, the dynamic we're going to have in the room, on the ice, a mix between, some very, very hardworking players alongside, with some very high-end talent now. And I think we have a very good core group that understands how we need to go about our business on a day-to-day basis. And I think it's going to make for a very fun year and a very enjoyable year for the fan base as well. So yeah, I'm thrilled. These last couple pieces are vitally important. So we're going to keep working around the clock on those. And I'll be excited at the same time to get back into the coaching mode for sure and get back to Cardiff and get the season going here.
Now, again, I'm not going to push you on this, but obviously Sheffield with their CHL commitments, Paul Thompson sort of set himself a little bit of a time frame the other day. He said he had 10 days to finish his team. Do you have a time frame in mind in your head of when you want this roster to be completed?
We're definitely approaching the line. Yeah, absolutely. When you consider the KHL games, when you consider the visa process does take a little bit of time. We have to be wary of that for sure. I wouldn't go out and say an exact date of 8 or 10 days, but I'd say in another week or 10 days we're gonna have to start really putting the squeeze on things. But at the same time, we might have the answer on a few things here very shortly. It's amazing how it works out. You can sometimes go through a little dry spell where guys are dodging you, they're taking their time, and then all of a sudden the chips just fall right in the perfect place on other days. So we'll just keep going about our business and see what happens.
Pretty exciting stuff. Now, turning our attention to other league matters, and a big announcement this week that the Challenge Cup final is going to be held in Ice Arena, Wales in 2017. Now, that's a very special trophy for you. You won it in your first year as player coach. Obviously, a disappointment last year of getting to the final but losing to the Panthers. But if you needed any extra motivation, is the fact that the final is going to be held in Cardiff just a little bit of a fillip for you?
I was blown away. Yeah, when Todd came back with that news, I was ecstatic. I think it's just amazing. I think that's kind of the way the organization's ownership with Todd. I know they have huge plans, to keep growing this organization into a powerhouse, into a top tier team, and really put the station back on the map, especially with this new arena. And I think to have maybe the first other event in the arena be this is pretty special. I think I know it'll be a sold out. Yeah, you better buy your tickets. That's all I have to say. But yeah, it'll be great, and it'd be pretty nice to get back there and not have to take one of those bus rides again. And the thought of celebrating a trophy on home ice would be, yeah, it gets me going right now. So that's a long way off, but we'll do everything we can to get there. And I know it'll be exciting for the fan base and for the league in general, because I know it's a great venue, and I think it'll promote the game very well.
And just on that, I guess it does emphasise again the night and day difference between the Big Blue Tent and Ice Arena Wales. The Big Blue Tent was great. It was home. It was a good atmosphere. But you mentioned in an interview that we did a couple of weeks ago that maybe the arena was the last piece of the jigsaw in terms of this franchise really being amongst the top clubs of British ice hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the last 2 years when you're trying to put the final piece on players, and they're bringing up the rink, the BBT. Until you play in there, you don't really appreciate it. Obviously, you look at some Google pictures or whatnot, and it's a bit scary. But yeah, to have the brand new venue now is incredible, from a recruiting perspective, also from the fan base, and yeah, it's just a great time, and it just keeps getting better here year on year with this team and this organization.
Now, I'm going to be very careful how I ask this question because I know you're very, very respectful of other teams around the league, and as are the whole Cardiff Devils organisation. It's great to see the Edinburgh Capitals signing some big players again this summer, and of course they've brought in one of the Stoll brothers this week, and it's a great city to play in. It's a beautiful city, and Scott Neal tries to do a very good job up there. But how important is it to the credibility of the league that Edinburgh franchise really holds together all season this year, and really challenges every team right up to the finishing post in late March, early April?
Oh, it's huge. It's absolutely vital. I feel like, since I've come over to the league, and even the few years before that, every year, year on year, the league's been growing at a tremendous rate. The reputation now of, players being paid their wages, getting treated the right way is through the roof. I think those questions have been answered on the league now, where I think, maybe a few years back, it was a different story. When you hear, all I hear from players is how great they hear, the elite league is now, how great the fan bases are, also how competitive it is. The word's gotten around, and it's an exciting time for all the teams and all the fan bases, and we need to keep that going. And yeah, absolutely. If when we can have 10 competitive teams like we did at the start of last season, I think you could see the excitement around the league, the energy. Every game, it was a tough test, and if we could see that through for the whole season and in to the future, again, just like I think a lot of people are saying, this league's going to continue to grow and start really passing some of the other European leagues around Europe.
Now, one of the other big events in Cardiff this week was David Sims was in town, and David always has a lot to say. But he made a couple of interesting comments about the evolution of coaching in this country, and maybe up until a few years ago, you had coaches who would take the morning session, and that was kind of it for the day. But now it is very much a full-time job with the video analysis and what have you. So within reason, without giving away too many trade secrets, what does your sort of working week consist of when you're back in the country? Is it sort of a 9 to 5 job, and what are the hours that you put in, and how does your day break down?
Big event, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sad that I'm not there for the football, but I wasn't disappointed to miss that one. No, I'm just teasing. I think Sims is a great character for the league, and I was talking to Piggott today and to Todd, and they said it was an awesome event and a lot of fun. But yeah, as far as the question, I think any job now is just so much more specialized. Technology now, it passes information around so quickly. things move. Just you see it in your emails and everything else on YouTube. Really no fat anymore, so to speak, in any business, and it's the same in hockey. The technology to use video or to break down video, to give players feedback as on a team basis, as also on an individual basis is great. And also the ability to study, higher leagues, the way the can't like I came back and watched some of those NHL games, and to see the level, the quality of the camera now, and you get to see the finer details of things. It's and the multiple camera angles, it helps so much. So all that, and then the other aspect is the training side of things. The advancements in the last 10 years have been incredible as far as how to train fast twitch muscles. The way I trained 10 years ago to now is completely different. And all the guys can say the same thing, the diets. So I just think it's those little minor changes on a daily basis has made the game better and better and faster, and even the equipment as well. So it's a constant daily push, and it's around the clock. But I think anyone that coaches or that's in this game, to last in it and to do it well or do it for a long time, you really do have to love it. And I see that around the league. There are a lot of passionate coaches and players, and yeah, it's busy. We'll put it that way.
So it's the first week of July. You're back off the beach now. You're back in the gym.
Yeah, you can tell by my tan. Yeah, yeah, been in the gym for a while, and very busy, and back on the ice now, which is good. And I've been working with a few people here that I really learn a lot from, and it's exciting and all good. And this recruiting's winding down, and we'll be back on to focusing, on our systems and our game plan and whatnot for the remainder for the upcoming preseason there, and that'll be very exciting with that KHL team coming in.
Well, Andrew, you did spring that announcement on me tonight, but I think it's an announcement that we're all going to be very excited about here in Cardiff. So good to speak to you, and hopefully catch up with you again next week. Some more news.
Thanks, John. Have a good one.
Cheers, Andrew.